Hello and welcome back, fellow soldiers. The big update number 6 finally dropped yesterday evening, and of course we're gonna have a closer look at it and what the devs write to it. So strap your asses to your chairs, this gonna be good. First thing, and I think the thing that really affects all and most of the players around, is the overhauled ballistics and hit detection system that the devs integrated with update number 6. And I've already talked a little bit about this new ballistics overhaul in the last episode that you can watch up here in the upper right corner, but to summarize everything, we are now moving from a line trace system to a projectile based system. What that means is, before, if you shoot a shot, that shot is projected by a line tracing program and the program calculates where the shot will land. From now on, with update number 6, we will have more realistic shootings that is projectile based, the weight of the projectile and also how the projectile flies through the air. That's what you have to know. So there will be a little bit of time, I think, to get used to the new projectile movement and how the weapons work. Next feature that launched together with the Ballistics Overhaul is the new map that we've been waiting for dearly, that is Hill 400, and this map will be available in Warfare and US offensive modes. And if you haven't played on that map before, do it, it's totally worth it. This map is just insanely detailed. The map is really designed interestingly. You'll have very interesting fights and very tactic based fights on this map, and I can definitely recommend checking it out. If you do so, you'll realize that this map is insanely detailed. When you join together with the new leaf projection and the changes that the devs made with the environment in general, you'll see that just everything feels more realistic. The map is living much more and it all feels more complete with a lot of nature going on. The light is just incredibly cool to see be reflected on different structures around the map. The stones that lay around the bunkers, just everything is just insane. You'll have to check it out. If you check out the briefing that the devs uploaded on Steam, there you'll also have some pictures that you can check out. But let's be honest, you don't have to look at pictures by now, you just have to join the map and play it yourselves. The next big thing that the devs brought to us with update number 6 is the Utah Beach Overhaul. They included some changes that they made on the map Utah Beach, and they implemented them by the update 6 with this update, and I played that today and I will also release a video to it. I'm just gonna say this much: the Utah Beach map is definitely worth checking out again after some time being on Purple Heart Lane. Now moving on to the next big thing that the devs brought to us, and that also led to certain discussions inside the team chat and on the commander's chat, and that is the Recon Plane Commander ability that is now new with update number 6. The Recon Plane Commander ability makes it possible for the commander to spend resources to call in a Recon plane, and I saw different players complaining about that this option is an option. They were writing in the chats, well, do we now have like a Call of Duty feature UAV here that we can use? We don't like it, blah blah. And please, before you judge this, play as a commander yourself. The ability is quite limited. What the commander can do is he can call in a Recon plane that will fly over a certain spot, and on that certain spot, when the plane passes, he is able to mark the enemy players and vehicles that are in that radius. And I know if I'm saying it like this sounds like a very bad feature, but the devs say, and you will see that if you check it out yourselves, the marks on the map, they aren't dynamic and they are not a live update, and therefore you cannot follow the movement of enemies. It's just a snapshot that could show you where enemies hide or where enemies are moving, and that snapshot is not dynamic. So if you see on the map that the commander was able to spot enemies, you can never be too sure if that enemy is still there or if he had moved by. And of course, if you are the enemy, it's always possible to hide from those recon planes. If you manage to get in cover, the planes won't spot you on the map. And of course, if you hear the plane, you know that there was one, that you've probably been marked on the map, and you should probably move out of this space. In my opinion, and from the short experience that I collected now when playing Hill 400, this ability is a very cool feature, and it's totally justified for all the people that say, well, it's not realistic, it's like Call of Duty. Of course, we don't want Hell Let Loose to become a shooter like Battlefield 1 or Call of Duty, etc. It's just not the same concept. But if we are historically accurate, and that's exactly what the developers try to be, then we know that there were indeed recon planes that flew over enemy territories, that gathered information and intel, and were able to spot certain enemy location. And just to also have that said, it's not possible to mark enemy outposts or enemy garrisons. So if a plane flies over you and you think that it could have been a recon plane, rest assured your garrison is still safe. The enemies just probably know that a lot of people have just been there at that spot that the plane was able to capture. Now, moving from the air to the ground, we come to the added Puma and Greyhound recon vehicles, and these are very, very cool. I use them myself as an Uber on the Utah Beach map. It's a very cool feature that the driver can take people with him and drive them to a certain spot on the front lines, but that's not the only ability that the recon vehicles bring with them. And actually, I didn't even know of that new ability that they bring with them. I think that specific ability will add a lot to the strategic gameplay of Hell Let Loose, and that is that the Greyhound and Puma recon vehicles are able to observe enemy positions. So they are not only a light tank and an Uber vehicle. On the recon vehicles, there is a seat reserved for an observer, and that observer can use a periscope view using his mouse scroll wheel and then choose a location where he can put down a dome, and in that dome he will be able to spot enemies with static icons, the same as the commander is able to call in a recon plane. So the same ability for the commander will be granted to the observer in the recon vehicle, and that is a very important feature to know of, and I'm very interested in how this will turn out, how it will change the gameplay in the future. I personally think it will change the gameplay for the better, makes it more tactical and just drives the need for communication more with the squad lead and also the commander. But let's see how this will turn out. If you have already used the recon vehicles, let me know in the comments down below what you think of them and what you think of the function that they bring to Hell Let Loose. Now, just so you know, I'm not including every single detail from the briefing that the devs wrote to the update number 6, since it's a very, very long briefing. But I think what's definitely worth a mention is that they upgraded the engine to 4.24, And of course, I'm not a developer. I don't know how much work it is, and that's also what the devs write. We may probably not have realized it, but they upgraded the engine. That took them a lot of work, and we will definitely be able to realize that when we are doing gameplay and when we are in the game. We will realize it with the FPS, we will realize it how the game flows and how everything looks like. Coming to the patch change list, I will just mention a few points, not all of them as I said before. I think an important one is that they updated the AT gun loader rotation speed times 3. If you remember, if you are the loader of the AT gun, you can also turn the AT gun, but it's just very slow. So they changed that and updated that, made it 3 times faster, so it makes it even more important to have an AT gun loader with you if you are using the AT gun. And speaking of speed and smoother gameplay, we come to the performance improvement that they included in the patch change list. The devs mentioned that they put in continual performance updates across all aspects of the title, and that they've been setting up a huge number of tools and workflows that they'll be using for their optimization update that will be shortly after update 7, so the performance will be upgraded even from now. I have to say I experience less FPS drops. Let me know how you are experiencing it in the comments down below. Coming to the end of this video and also the developers briefing of update number 6, we're gonna have a closer look at the last point, and that is currently working on, in no specific order, where the devs are mentioning some points that they are currently working on, and those are animation overhauls, new high density urban map that we've all been waiting for, I think, for more close quarter combats. They will have a enormous scale non-hedges bridge map, new weapons, new armored vehicles, new customization options, of course continued bug fixes and map overhauls for older maps, and continued work on sound overhaul, etc, etc. So you'll see the work is not done yet, and it's just amazing what the developers do with this game, with this title. And if you haven't bought the game yet and you've been sticking with me until now, I don't earn anything by saying that. I'm not affiliated with the developers, but consider buying the game. It's 25 bucks or something. You'll get a lot more out of it than you put money into it. It's just so amazing. And also a quick mention to finish this video off, and I have to say it again, I don't earn any money by saying that. Actually, I don't earn any money with doing YouTube. What I wanted to say that is G-Portal will be offering a 10% discount to existing and new server owners over the next months. And you'll find the links in the developers briefing on Steam. It will grant 10% off Hell Let Loose server rental for the duration of the period you book for. So if you are searching for a server to rent, and if you probably have a team that you're playing with and you want to run a server, then you can get it now at the 10% discount. Just so you know, I think that's a nice feature. Now we've come to the end of this update. Have a look at it yourselves. It's amazing. I'm pretty sure I haven't promised you guys too much with the things I said in this update. Let me know what you think of the changes that have been implemented with update number 6, and let me know what you wish for to see in the next update, number 7. Now, I'm definitely going to finish this video. Stay safe out there, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna see each other on the battlefield.